How do you become unstoppable as a creative? The answer is actually pretty simple. It's that you believe in yourself beyond external validation. But just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. And if I just gave you that advice right now and then turned off this camera video right now, that wouldn't be very good advice. So I want to dig into this topic today. Here's the thing. You have the knowledge. You've learned all the things. You have the skill. You've been honing your craft. You are confident logically in your ability to do the thing, whatever your creative thing is. But for some reason, you just keep getting stuck. And what's happening here when you're in this mode, if these things I'm saying are you, is you're getting in your own way. You are stopping yourself before the world has a chance to, right? So you have to get out of your own way. But how do you do that? And how do you believe in yourself consistently on a daily basis so that you can show up consistently? Now, the first thing I want to point out is that it is very normal to waver in your self-belief. Everybody does, whether they talk about it or not, whether you can tell from their beautiful Instagram feed or not. It is human to waver in your self-belief. So first of all, give yourself that, right? If you're wavering in your self-belief, just know that that is normal, very normal. The difference is the people that are able to manage it and still show up. So those are the tools that I want to give you today. Some of the things that have helped me to start having this consistent self-belief. Now, if you don't know me, I have 1.8 million followers across social media. And I tell you that not because I accept it as a personality trait, but because it is proof that external validation will not change the internal. It's nothing more than a Band-Aid. I remember when I was going viral in 2020, I was gaining hundreds of thousands of followers a week. And I remember thinking, okay, once I hit 1 million followers, I am going to feel secure, that'll be enough, that'll be good. Then I'll be you know what, I can get the brand deals and my career will be smooth sailing. All I got to do is hit 1 million followers. And what do you think happened when I hit 1 million followers? I woke up that morning and it was the same old, same old. I was still Hallee Smith. I still had the same issues I had the morning before. Nothing really changed from an internal standpoint, right? Of course, the external validation, yes, was wonderful. But like I said, the external validation is like a Band-Aid. And it's not a bad thing. I don't want to go down that route because external validation is not a bad thing. We can use it strategically as a tool, but the key is that you are intentional about it and you understand that, yes, it is just a Band-Aid. And if that is the only thing driving you, you are on some level fragile because the second it's gone, you can't navigate. And what we're talking about today is how to become unstoppable as a creative. So how do you become anti-fragile in this way, in a way that you can use external validation as a tool, but you're not dependent on it? Again, the answer is simple. It is believing in yourself first. But as simple as that sounds, it's not easy. So before I get into the tools, I want to ask you this. How would your life change if you decided to believe in yourself despite the metrics? If somebody said no to you and it just rolled off your shoulder and you continued on with your day because you had a mission to fulfill. You know that there's a yes out there. You know that no is just getting you one step closer to the next yes. How different would your life look if these barriers, so the person saying no, the video flopping, the video not going viral or not performing how you expected it to, what if those things didn't stop you? They didn't shake you and you could just keep on going because you believe in yourself. You're not relying on that person to say yes, to believe if what you're saying has value, is worth being said and putting time and energy into. How would your life change? Truly, I want you to imagine the feeling, the empowerment that you could have if you were able to navigate life in this way. How different would your life be? How would this change your life? For me, I would always, when I would see people that could navigate like this, I would be almost envious of them because I'm like, wow, that must just be such a liberating feeling to not be tugged and pulled and yanked in all these directions emotionally because people are saying no, people aren't believing in me. How liberating would that be? It truly is a liberating feeling. So I want to talk about some tools that I use and have really helped me to shift into this way of being. You probably don't need all of them, so choose them, use them wisely, use them as you need. But what you can do is you can put them in your tool belt so that when you do have these days where maybe you waver and you need to believe in yourself, you can go, oh, I'm having a down day. Let me whip out this tool and apply it so that I can believe in myself today and be consistent and do all the things that we were just talking about, okay? Tool number 1, accept imperfection. If you do any of them, do this one first. Because if you give yourself permission to be human, the second that you give yourself permission to be imperfect, you will immediately be liberated of the pressure to show up in any certain way. You probably hold yourself to a high standard. A lot of creatives do. Because you want your work to be good. You want it to be recognized. You care about craft, right? So you hold yourself to a high standard, and in many ways, that is why you are so successful and so talented. At the same time, this trait can cause us to struggle a bit because you have to be able to accept imperfection. Let your best effort be enough. And you have to shift this on a core level. You have to truly believe this. So tell yourself, let my best effort be enough. I am human. I don't have to be perfect 24/7. The second tool is clarity. I find that often creatives struggle the most when they don't have clarity, myself included. When I don't have clarity on something, I am immediately overwhelmed. I immediately am spiraling and I'm in a bad mood. I'm emotional. It's just going downhill when there's no clarity. So how do you gain clarity? It's different for everyone, but 2 of the go-to things that I do when I'm lacking clarity, actually I'll give you 3. 1, journaling. Just brain dump it out. Just write it out. Journaling, it sounds cliche because everyone's like, just journal. Yeah, well, okay, it's cliche for a reason, right? Because it works. If you need clarity, journal it out. Brain dump it out. Another one is meditating. Just sitting in silence, turning off the thoughts can bring you clarity. And the third one is venting. Whether it's venting, talking to, I've worked with business coaches a lot, a business coach, a family member, talk to somebody who can hold space for you and listen and see you and guide you through your lack of clarity. Third tool, no pressure creative outlets. These are ways that you can almost distract yourself, get yourself back in flow and to a place where you believe in yourself again. So for me, dancing, singing. I started a spam TikTok account. That's another fun one where no pressure. If I have this random 5-second silly video I want to record and post it for no reason, I can just post it there. Outlets are so important for creatives, and the key is for them to be no pressure. No pressure to be a certain way, to perform a certain way, to be perfect. And this will help with that first one of letting go of the imperfection. So figure out what is your no pressure creative outlet. If you don't have one right now, it can be totally different, by the way, from the craft, the thing you're working on. Say you're working on writing a novel. Maybe your no pressure creative outlet is going to dance classes, something totally different, but it's going to help. They're going to connect. It's all connected, guys. It's all connected. The next one is having a structured morning routine. As creatives, I know we're very avoidant when it comes to structure at times because we know creativity is vast, free-flowing, all-encompassing. But having some sort of structure brings you so much stability and peace. The key is figuring out an outline. Right? When I think of doing a morning routine, it's an outline rather than 5 steps, right? Like, I'm going to get up when my alarm goes off. No snoozing. I'm going to go and have a drink. Maybe one day it's water. Maybe one day it's coffee. Maybe one day it's tea. And then I'm going to move my body. Maybe one day it's walking. Maybe one day it's running. Maybe one day it's lifting. Have a structured morning routine to your desired level, but it's got to be something that is going to get you into that flow. The next tool, prioritizing joy. Sometimes we can ruminate on things, like especially even this topic. You're like, all right, I need to start believing in myself. So then we're like trying so hard to just like believe in ourselves. But guys, the more you focus on it, the harder it's going to be. So prioritize having joy in your life. Time with your friends, time with your family, hobbies, your pet. Things where you're disconnected from the outcome and you're just enjoying. You're just living. You're loving. You're being. We're on a floating rock, okay? At the end of the day, we got to remember, we're on a floating rock, and the whole point is to enjoy your life, live a happy life, love the people around you, and try to make some sort of positive impact. And so having joy built into your life on a daily basis can help pull you out of taking it so serious, thinking that everything has to be so perfect. And just remember the whole point of it all. Because if you don't have those little reminders, it's very easy to continuously fall down the spiraling rabbit hole of overthinking. Last but not least, I saved the best for last, by the way. Have a mantra. Mine this year has been, what if this time I didn't give up? And instead I pivot. This mantra has changed the trajectory of my year. Every time I hit a wall, every time I hear a no, every time a video flops, something doesn't work out as planned, I tell myself, what if this time I didn't give up, in parentheses, and instead I pivoted. This mindset shift for me, like I'm giving you this as an example. I think that you should pick a mantra that feels right to you, that elicits an emotion, a motivation within you. But this one works for me with where I was at, because I had a tendency to, when I would hear a no, I would just scrap the plan. Be like, you know what, it's not working. But like we talked about in the beginning, what if you could hear no and be like, okay, next. How do we figure this out? So this mantra has been particularly helpful for me, and I will literally say it out loud. I think I recorded myself saying it at the beginning of the year. So pick a mantra that emotionally connects with where you're at, that you need to hear. If you were a best friend giving yourself advice, what would be the one-liner that you would give yourself? That is your assignment for today. Aside from trying any of these other tools, your assignment for this podcast episode is to pick a mantra. Because of any of these tools, I think that this is the most simple and the thing that you just have it as your go-to thing in the back of your head. Drop it in the comments and we can all hear what each other's mantras are. I think that would be fun. Your second assignment is to save this video. If you got value out of this, if you want to come back to these things, save the video so that you can. We're inundated with information, guys, right? So we have to save the things that are really helpful. So if this was that, hopefully it was. Save the video. Last but not least, I started an accountability group where we're meeting monthly. It's kind of like, think of like a Patreon or a Substack where you get exclusive access, group calls, exclusive access to a community. Here's the cool thing. The first 20 members are free. I'm keeping it open until Halloween or when we hit 20 members. There's an application in the description, so go ahead and fill that out if you're interested. Subscribe to the podcast so you can catch the next one, and I will see you guys in the next episode.